Hi there, it's Ed Moses with Project Mindset, and I want to talk to you a little bit about, if you have these stressful days where, you got a lot on your mind, a lot's going on, your work's driving you crazy, people keep calling you, you've got all these things you got to get done at a certain time, and you're going crazy, and your mind is running 100 miles per hour, you got this voice in your head, and it keeps telling you, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, and pretty soon you reach that point where you almost get into a brain freeze. You stop. It's like, okay, now I can't function. What do I do? Well, that's where this comes into play. I call it silence and meditation. I learned this skill from the good Deepak Chopra, and here's the reasoning behind this. Silence and meditation puts you into a state of relaxation. Now you're probably asking me, how am I going to get into a state of relaxation when I'm stressed out, when I've got so much going on in my head that I can't shut the voices off? Well, stop for a minute and let me guide you into a better perspective so that you can understand how to shut that voice off. It's not easy. I have that voice like anyone else has that voice, and it likes to run and run and run. But I've learned something about how to shut that voice down. And this should work for you. Give it a shot. Now, here's what I like to do. I will go to a room in the house, or if you're in the wood, if you're in a wooded area, you take a walk to find yourself a nice area where there's nobody around that can bother you. Just listen to nature, the wind blow, the trees, the leaves ruffle, whatever. If you can get into a silent room in your own home, that's great too. And just sit in like the meditation seat, when you sit down to meditate, where you got your legs crossed in front of you, and put your hands out like so, and you close your eyes and just relax, calm down, and listen to your breathing. Now, here's what's going to happen. And don't be surprised, this is going to happen. Your voice is still, this voice in your head is still going to start throwing all these things at you. You need to, you have to, this is due, and you're going to be like, okay, what am I going to do? I can't shut this down. Here's what you need to do. Think to yourself, while you're sitting there in a silent position, in a silent room, keep repeating to yourself in your mind, I just want silence. I just need silence. Something along that line. Something that tells your mind, I just want silence. And keep repeating that to yourself. I just want silence. I just want silence. I just want silence. And eventually what will happen is it'll start interrupting all of those thoughts that keep wanting to come to the surface. And eventually what will happen is you will go into a state or a trance, whatever you would like to call it. And what will happen is those thoughts will finally stop. And about that time when you start going into state, what will happen is that voice that keeps saying, I just want this to stop, or I just want silence, it'll cut too. Because what will happen is when you go into this trance, you start moving into another plane, another train of thought, a place that's a lot nicer to be. And at that point, it starts calming your nerves, it starts making you feel better, it's a much healthier place to be. And what will happen is you will start to create through your imagination different scenarios. It could be anything. You just don't know what's going to come from that imagination in your head. You don't know what's going to come from it. But let that flow. Let that flow. And just enjoy it. And what will eventually happen is you will come out of that trance. I did it today, and actually what knocked me out of trance just like that was some loud car drove by, and it woke me right up out of it, and which was fine because it was obviously time to come out of that state anyway and come back to this world and take care of what it is I needed to take care of. So, but I want you to try this. Put it into practice. and see how this works to calm down that voice in your head that keeps wanting to stress you out. Use that silence. Use that meditation. If you haven't meditated before, it's actually a very nice calming thing to do. If you really want to learn to meditate, you can actually, a lot of areas have local classes, or you can go on the internet and see different techniques that they use. It's really a very nice calming thing that you can actually do for yourself, and it's a very healthy thing to do. But anyway, this was what I wanted to touch base with you on today, is how you can calm that voice down in your head. Lessen the anxiety and the stress that goes on in your life, and start thinking in a more productive manner and a more creative manner by going into a silent state and calming down that crazy voice in your head. So anyway, I appreciate you watching this video, and I liked the fact that I had an opportunity to make this video for you. It was quite fun, and get a chance to look at my blog. I wrote some, it's kind of a story version of what I just told you. So you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye now.